ఇందాక శ్రీనివాస్ ప్రసాద్ గారు చెప్పినట్టు ఈ గ్లోబల్ ఫోరం ఫర్ సస్టైనబుల్ ట్రాన్స్ఫర్మేషన్ అని చంద్రబాబు నాయుడు గారి విజన్తో యాజ్ ద చైర్మన్ 2020లో మీ అందరికీ తెలుసు 2019లో చంద్రబాబు నాయుడు గారు ఎలక్షన్లో ఓడిపోయారు. ఆయన ఐడియల్గా ఉండకుండా మనం ఒక పబ్లిక్ పాలసీ అడ్వకసీ ఒక డాక్యుమెంట్ చేయాలని 2020లో మేము ఈ ఆర్గనైజేషన్ స్టార్ట్ చేసాం. దిస్ ఈజ్ ఆర్గనైజేషన్ ఆఫ్ థాట్ లీడర్స్. ఇట్ హెస్ గాట్ ద ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ ఆఫ్ బిల్ క్లింటన్, ఇట్ హెస్ గాట్ ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ ఆఫ్ టోనీ బ్లేయర్, బిల్ గేట్స్. వీఆర్ ఇన్ కాన్స్టెంట్ టచ్ విత్ రతన్ టాటా ఫౌండేషన్. ఏ విధంగా చేస్తే మన దేశం ముందుకెళ్తుంది, మన దేశం యొక్క హిస్టరీ is so important. Many of you may not know because it is not taught in our education system. India was one of the greatest countries around 1500 years back. The richest country in terms of resources, in terms of industry, in terms of manufacturing, in terms of global trade. India was controlling 26.6% of global trade 1500 years back, or rather 1700 years back. Kani, unfortunately, because of our internal fighting, India was not a single country. India was made up of many countries or many princely states. So there was no common thinking between the rajas of each province. So the British, through East India Company in 1757, and later in 1858, the British government took over. So almost 200 years before the British came, India was controlling 26.6%. When British left in 1947, we were controlling less than 4%. So imagine how much of loss the country. Otherwise, all of us would have been much more happier, much more successful. But that's history. So thereafter, last 75 years, governments are struggling how to make India into a developed country. India is not yet a developed country. In 1947, we are classified as an underdeveloped country. Now we are classified as a developing country. ఒక డెవలప్డ్ కంట్రీ కావాలంటే మీ అందరూ ముందుకు రావాలి. పీపుల్ హూ ఆర్ ఆఫ్ యువర్ ఏజ్ షుడ్ టేక్ దిస్ ఇనిషియేటివ్. ముందుకొచ్చి మీరు దేశాన్ని ముందు తీసుకెళ్ళాలి. కాకపోతే ఏ విధంగా తీసుకెళ్ళాలనేది ఒక పెద్ద క్వశ్చన్ మార్క్. దట్ ఈస్ వేర్ వీఆర్ ట్రైంగ్ టు కమ్ ఇన్. వీఆర్ ట్రైంగ్ టు గైడ్ యూ. ఈ విధంగా చేస్తే ఇండియా ముందుకెళ్తుంది. సో మీరు యువర్ స్టూడెంట్స్ ఆఫ్ ఎకనామిక్స్ అండ్ కామర్స్ కాబట్టి ఐఎమ్ షూర్ ఇన్ యువర్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ సిస్టమ్ certain subjects are connected to GDP. I am an engineer, so we were never taught economy. So I don't know the subject in depth. But if you are familiar with GDP, GDP is a measure. ఒక కంట్రీ జీడిపిని బట్టి దాన్ని మెజర్మెంట్ చేస్తాము. ఒక కంట్రీ గ్రోత్ని బట్టి జీడిపిని మెజర్ చేస్తాము. ఇండియా జస్ట్ 2022 December crossed $3.9 trillion. All of you are aware $3.9 trillion is equal to rupees చూస్తే. Because we were number 6 in the world economy. USA is number 1, China is number 2, Japan is number 3, Germany is number 4, Great Britain was number 5, India was number 6. So in 2022, when we crossed 3.9 trillion, we have now become 5th largest economy of the world by GDP terms. But if we take per capita, which is also a measure of how much a citizen earning, we are far behind. We are far behind advanced economies. We have to improve our per capita. That is where we are trying to understand what are the opportunities we can create for youngsters to become the future leaders and partake into the economic development of this country. So if you have gone through this short reading material that has been supplied to you, there are 5 key strategies which are also displayed in the posters. So I don't want to go in deep because I think by now you must have read all this. So what I thought is you should understand why we are making this document and what is vision. ఇందాక హనుమాన్ ప్రసాద్ గారు he has just given a outline vision గురించి. Vision is something which we are trying to see what is going to happen next 5 years or 10 years or 15 years or further. So it is not very difficult to think what we will do, but it's very difficult to implement what you want to do. So that is where the success of a visionary. Today, Mr. Chandrababu Naidu is known as a visionary because of his success of his policies. In 1990, when he said Vision 2020, many people did not believe that somebody can predict 25 years of growth. But it exactly happened. Today, Cyberabad, which is the third city after Hyderabad and Secunderabad, is highest per capita income in India. That is all because of one visionary. Now that we are separate state, the vision capabilities of Mr. Naidu, we want now to implement in Andhra Pradesh. We are trying to understand how we build Amravati, how we build various concepts. So one of the newest concept, if you have read this document, is known as P4. I think how many of you understand P3, I am not aware, but P3 is public-private partnership. So whenever the government is not having sufficient funds, it is inviting private people to build roads or infrastructure so that the government burden comes down, and whatever money the private company is putting, they are recovering by way of toll. So if you are traveling on the highway, there is a toll every 40-50 kilometers. That money is given to the contractor who paid for the infrastructure, so he is recovering his money for a period of maybe around 30 years. So into that, Mr. Chandrababu Naidu has added a fourth P. P4 means people, public, private partnership. So when you say people, one of the finest example is Guntur. When you say JKC College, it is Jagarlamudi Kuppuswamy. So that man had the vision to donate that money or donate the land or donate the building as a people. But thereafter, it has developed into a good institution. Same way you can take Andhra Pradesh College or C.R. Reddy College. Recently, I was in Vijayanagaram. Ashok Gajapati family so far has given 15,000 acres for public welfare. They have 108 temples. So that is how those people who had the wealth, they were able to look forward and contribute. Now, in this age, we want the same thing to happen. The government is initiating. In fact, I am one of the key members of the group where we are trying to build this P4. The ultimate objective is that we should become a zero poverty country, and we should not have